What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my quick thoughts on Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Now, I was planning to do like a full-fledged review of it, but just some things came up, and I plan to make a separate video on kind of like another life update kind of a thing where I talk about what's been going on with me and stuff like that. So please be on the lookout for that. Plus, I also recorded with my good friend Sam a spoiler discussion. So that's going to be like the main review, but this is kind of like my initial thoughts, my spoiler-free thoughts, if you will. I'm just literally going to run through some of the pros and cons that I had with the movie. I'm going to rate the movie probably in the spoiler review. I did finally give it a rating. I guess I have to put my watch on now. By the way, I hope you guys like the t-shirt. Hold on, let me... By the way, I hope you guys like the t-shirt, Paradigm Shift, John Moxley. I picked it up at the AEW show. If you saw my vlog, you'll know. So yeah, but I did, by the way, watch NXT and AEW this week. Both were great shows. Congrats to Rhea Ripley for finally dethroning the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. And by the way, I got this cool thing at the theater. There's like a little thing, you can put your drink in here and drink out of this, drink out of R2-D2. That didn't sound weird at all. I'll let him hang out over here. I'll take the straw out of him. Anyway, yeah, this kind of looks cool. Anyway, so, yeah, first of all, I do want to say that I did enjoy Rise of Skywalker a lot more than other people did. I don't think it was nearly as bad as how other people were making it out to be. Now, did I have some issues with the movie? Yes. However, and we'll get to that in just a sec, but I overall don't think that Rise of Skywalker is a bad movie. I think it was definitely a departure from Last Jedi. I feel like J.J. Abrams half the time was just busy trying to undo a lot of the things that Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi, which, by the way, wasn't a bad movie, but it really didn't fit within the context of this entire new trilogy. So, I know Rian Johnson's probably going to be doing like his own thing down the line, which is great, which is fine, but it just didn't fit with this original vision that J.J. Abrams had. So that was the only thing that was a little concerning for me as far as Last Jedi was concerned. So anyway, but we talk a little bit more about that in my spoiler review. So yes, we did already finally record the spoiler review. So this is happening right after, but I'm going to keep this very, very brief and kind of just run through some of the pros and some of the cons that I have with this movie. Starting with Rey's struggle with the light and dark side, I think it was handled really well. Rey tries to do good, but Kylo Ren still, can still connect with her through the Force, and he's trying to coerce her to come to the dark side and everything. It's really, really cool, especially with like her twist that comes towards like the second act of the movie, I guess. So it was pretty cool. I like that. She, how she fights with it, very much like Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. How he kind of you can see he's struggling to stay on the straight and narrow, but the dark side does kind of tempt him a little bit. So yeah, I can kind of see that. Zori's character, there's a character named Zori. She has a past with Poe Dameron and everything, and so yeah, and her character was kind of badass. She didn't have a lot to do, but like whatever her scenes in the movie was really, really nice. In one scene, there's another character, and it's not really. I don't consider these spoilers. So there is a character that there's a new droid that BB-8 befriends named D-O, and it is the cutest thing ever. Between Baby Yoda this year, from the new franchise, between BB-8, the Porgs, Baby Yoda, and now Dio, like Star Wars is definitely getting some really adorable characters, and I love it. It's really cool. I just wanted to like just pick it up and just hold it, in my arms like this and be like, oh my God, you are the cutest thing in the world. Just like this. Just hold it like this and do this. Anyway, but the cinematography, the action scenes, all of them were really fantastic. Very well handled, very well shot. The action scenes, minus maybe like the space scenes, like with the ship battles, I really didn't care much for those. But all the gunfights, the lightsaber duels, Rey versus Kylo, that leads to my other point. All done really well. I feel like the lightsaber duels in this one felt a lot more raw and a lot more visceral than it did in Last Jedi. Kind of similar to how Rey and Kylo, when they fought in Force Awakens, how raw and visceral that felt. I think this was some good stuff here, and I really, really liked it. So it's just some good action scenes. Another pro in this was Lando Calrissian. That's not really a spoiler. Lando's in the trailer, so I'm not going to count it as a spoiler. So I think Lando actually did a good job. He was not in the movie like too much, but I kind of like that. I like the fact that he didn't wasn't in like every frame of the movie, because they felt the need to, put out references, to other characters just like that, and whatnot. So, and it was, like I said, it was really cool to see him. It was great. I enjoyed seeing Billy D. Williams once again reprising the role of Lando. But they handled him really well. I think they really put him in scene, and like they didn't just put him in there just for fan service. He actually had like something to do in whatever scene he was in, which is great, which is what I loved. So that was good. So I think Lando's character was handled really well. As far as cons, Princess Leia, or General Leia now, she's still in the movie. They do kind of handle her. They just kind of write her off a little bit. Apparently a lot of the scenes were from like reshoots of Force Awakens, not reshoots, like from our deleted unused footage from Force Awakens. So Leia does look a little bit like a hologram at times, even though she's supposed to be like a real person. She's supposed to be like actually there and everything. Carrie Fisher, obviously, rest in peace and whatnot. But yeah, I think this was. I just didn't really like the way Leia looked in this. It was a little bit, you could tell, it was it looked a little artificial, but it is what it is. Sometimes I felt the performances were getting a little stale. There was just times where I felt like some of the, look, our protagonists even were just kind of like, just wanted to say, hey, let's just get this over with, kind of an attitude, So I didn't really, sometimes I felt Rey at times, Daisy Ridley, look, Daisy Ridley is still Bae, Daisy Ridley, I still love you and I still want to marry you, along with Xia Li. But I think sometimes she does, there are times where her character is a little insufferable, and it kind of makes sense with the twist and everything, but it just, sometimes I just didn't really like her performance. Finn, John Boyega literally does nothing except scream Rey's name every 10 minutes or so. Oscar Isaac still did a good job, so I'm not going to say anything about him. Other than that, that's kind of all with the performances. And the Knights of Ren do show up once again in this, like how they were alluded to in the Force Awakens. The Knights of Ren do show up. I don't feel that's a spoiler either. But, they just really just do a lot of snooping. They really don't have much to do until, like, the end, which kind of sucked for me because they really didn't do much. I thought they would do a little bit more and be a little bit more integral to the story, but, I guess I was wrong. Some of the scenes are complete rehashes of previous films. Now, I know that there were a lot of references to the original trilogy in some of the older movies, but I felt like it made sense, within the context of everything. Here, it felt like because Rian Johnson had a complete departure from The Force Awakens, it felt like J.J. Abrams felt like he had to cram in references from Empire and Return of the Jedi into Rise of Skywalker. So, it kind of felt a little bit overbearing, and it just didn't. I just didn't really. You could literally just be like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. I was just like, okay, can we just not have too much of this, please? Thank you, right? And speaking of Rey's twist, I really didn't like the way they handled it. I thought they could have made it a little bit more dramatic because, it's a pretty big deal. Let me get a drink real quick. it was a pretty big deal. Okay, her twist is a pretty big deal. It just wasn't handled the way that I wanted it to be handled. So I mean, it was just like, oh hey, Rey's twist. Here you go. It wasn't revealed in a much more, I just wish it was revealed a little bit better, but it is what it is. So yeah, and I think that Kylo Ren's force power is really cool, where he can kind of come in and out of Rey, and he can kind of still come into Rey's vision and kind of still talk to her. But the thing is, that sometimes confused me, because sometimes I was wondering whether Kylo was actually there, or he was still doing the whole vision transporting thing or whatnot. Like I was just wondering, because it felt kind of weird, in that. So it got a little confusing at times, but it is what it is. Going back to Princess Leia, her arc, as I kind of alluded to, I didn't really like the way that her arc kind of ended. I mean, it made sense and everything. Again, I just wish it could have been handled better. I think a lot of time, and I'll talk about this finally, but and I guess the film does drag a bit. I feel that pacing was a bit of an issue. Like sometimes it would just go really fast. There are parts where I want to be really invested in the movie, but I'm just not able to, because it ends so quickly. And then there are parts that just completely drags out, where I'm just like, okay, no, we can move this along. Let's speed it up, guys. So I feel like there was a mix of too fast or too slow for me. So that was kind of my issue. And finally, I guess the Emperor, Palpatine is in this movie. Again, that's not a spoiler either. He's in the trailers. He's on the damn poster. So no, it's not a spoiler. How he survived, we still don't know. I wish there was some clear answer to that, but it's cool, and it's not cool. It's just how did he survive? It's just still a mystery. But hey, I guess he is Palpatine, and I guess it takes a lot more than a I don't know, a 200,000 feet drop. Well, I'm just being conservative, like a million, like a zillion feet drop from a spacecraft or whatever. To kill him. I don't know. I guess he's that powerful of a Jedi. Anyway, or Sith Lord at this, or as it were. So overall, I did enjoy the movie, though it did feel like there were a lot of ideas that sounded really good on paper and sounded probably really good in J.J. Abrams' mind, but the execution was just a little bit poor. That's kind of what I thought overall. But I did like it. I did enjoy it. It was it was a good time at the theater. But yeah, I enjoyed, by and large, I did enjoy the movie. So, again, I would normally rate it, but I did rate it in my spoiler review. I'll have that out to you guys probably tomorrow, kind of like my Christmas gift. But this time, that's not going to be like my last video of the year. I still plan to do one more review, and that'll be my last video for 2019. But anyway, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys next time. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.